Good afternoon and welcome back to Little French Homestead. If you are new, my name is Sherry. I just like to welcome you to my channel. Today we're going to be making a chicken marinade that is absolutely divine. Now, I will link this recipe down below, and in a little bit you will be seeing me how I prepare and make this entire meal. Right now in my Ziploc bag, we've got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I've already cut them into strips. You're going to add some sweet chili sauce, soy sauce, sesame seed oil. Now, I do have my minced garlic. I'd already chopped everything all up, and I've pre-made my garlic pucks. I've got a video that I can link down below for you if you'd like to watch them. This is the best way that I found to go ahead and keep fresh garlic on hand without having to chop garlic every single time, which makes these particular meals super simple and easy. Now, I don't have any fresh ginger, which is fine. I do have this minced, and you want to go ahead and add some lime juice, and you can add some chili flakes if you want to add that little extra heat. Now, I will go over the rest of the directions for the rest of the meal in just a few. I am going to go ahead and Ziploc this up, and I like to go ahead and keep it in an aluminum pan in the refrigerator, especially chicken. That way it doesn't leak. I set this in here for about 4 hours, but you certainly can go ahead and do an overnight, and that's just going to give you a much deeper, richer, in-depth flavor for this particular marinade. My kids actually even enjoyed this, believe it or not. All right, so we're getting ready for dinner. My husband in a few minutes is going to go outside, go put on the chicken on the grill. I am just going to open this all up here, dump. But I did notice that some of it really still wasn't thoroughly mixed very well. So I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze out all of that, and then give it a quick mix right now with my hands. That's why I got a glove on. And then while he cooks these down, these are already into strips, so it's not going to take much to cook. Got some of that garlic that I want to get infused in here. All right, so now we're just going to use my yellow rice mix. This has got all of the ingredients all in it together. I love making these. These are absolutely wonderful. I got 3.5 cups of water. I only need a little bit of coconut milk. So then what I'm going to do for this particular, I'm going to pour a little bit of coconut milk in here just to add a little bit more depth of flavor. So we are going to make now, we're having actually tonight for dinner, it is called sweet chili chicken bowl with a coconut lime drizzle. I have not made this before. I've made the sweet chili, and we've had that before. But not in this particular setting for this meal. So let me bring you over here a little bit more. I'm just going to slide you. We're going to add a half a cup of coconut milk. And you do want full fat for this. 2 pretty good tablespoons of mayonnaise. Actually, I probably won't use all of that in there. I might just use a little bit. We're gonna use a little bit of, I just mixed the two. I had a little bit of lemon and a little bit of lime left over from a previous video that I did. And I'm just doing a little bit, oops, oh, well, that's gonna be a little spicier than I thought. So maybe what I'll do is make a little extra. And that's not gonna be a big deal then. We will definitely use this since I already scooped and left that in there. And then the other ingredients is a pinch of salt and some sriracha or some hot sauce. So I don't actually have either one of those ingredients. So we're gonna skip out on that for tonight. I do want my children to eat this. Now I did go to my local store just a little bit ago. I called my mom to see if she had any coconut milk. She did not. So I ran down and I picked up some fresh parsley and some fresh green onions. Now you would normally go ahead and do like cilantro and stuff. When I went there to go pick up cilantro, they did not have any. So that's okay. I'm gonna get a whisk. Help that along a little bit better. You want to make sure this is all incorporated. I am going to give this a quick little taste. Make sure that the lemon lime is not going to be too overpowering. That's what happens when you have a working kitchen sometimes. If you don't measure correctly, you're going to have an issue. Actually, I'm glad I made a big double batch because that's delicious. Wow. Right now I'm going to go ahead and pour it in one of my containers. Now I used to have one of these just for mayonnaise only, and it did not quite work out as well as I was hoping for. And I'm going to try to see I can make that into, yeah, that's not going to work. Well, next best thing is I'm going to do it over the sink. You know, I found the next best thing. We're going to pour it into that. And then pour it over the sink. There we go. Saved ourselves. Well, saved myself a big old mess to clean up in a little bit. And then I can just go ahead and safely store that in the refrigerator. That looks perfect. Can't wait to try it on the food. All right, so my husband says there's a few more minutes left cooking up those chicken pieces. So right now I'm just gonna cut up a few pieces of the green onion. And you know that you can keep green onions fresh for a long time as long as you keep them in some fresh water. So that's what I'm gonna do right here. I'm just making all of these even. I'm not gonna take too much off of these. I was able to grab 6. These were, I hate to say it, the best looking bunch that they had. Normally I try to grab the ones that have a little bit more, but there you go. And now that way, as long as you change this water, maybe like every 2-3 days, and keep trimming these down, like so you're keeping using them, they will always keep sprouting. Once I feel maybe after the 3rd or 4th time that I've had enough, then I go ahead and just cut them all down. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just freeze them. That way when I want to go ahead and make like potato leek soup or a soup of some sort of a cream base, I will use that. All I'm going to do here is just trim off some of the stems, because I do want to go ahead and use some of these parsleys for tonight's dinner as a topping. The best way to go ahead and keep your parsley in the refrigerator so you can use it for several days is putting it in a damp cloth after you've like thoroughly rinsed them off from the store. Put them in a damp cloth, keeping them in the refrigerator. Now you can go one step further if you have the room for it, which I don't, is to go ahead and stick them in a glass just like that, and you put a plastic bag over it. That'll keep them obviously much longer, but right now I don't have the room for that. So I would rather just keep them in a Ziploc bag and in the refrigerator that way. That way I can put them in a drawer. All right, I think I'm gonna do one more. And then if you don't use these right away and they start to go a little bit bad, freeze them, you know. They go well in soups. You want to make sure that you try to use all of this, what you're using. So I'm not throwing these away. I'm just going to still go ahead and cut off this little part here, and I'm going to stick all this into a freezer Ziploc bag. This is my damp paper towel here, and I just want to make sure that I have everything. Now you don't want to do that obviously with the stems of the parsley, but if you got some extra leaves or something like that, you can do that. And I have plenty of meals later on this week to use all of this stuff with. And that sounds just like my husband getting ready to bring our dinner. Oh yeah, let's see that. Oh, they look gorgeous. Look at that. He did an amazing job, just like always when he goes out to grill. All right, let me just clean this all up a little bit. I have a couple of more minutes left on the rice, and we'll go ahead and plate everything all up and enjoy. All right, so our amazing dinner is ready. My husband just brought in the chicken. I am gonna go ahead and plate this all up to look real pretty. We've got this delicious, what was it? The sweet chili. Oh, you know what I'm even gonna do too is I have some some sesame seeds, not cinnamon seeds. Let me go ahead and get those out as well. We're gonna add that on here. And I'm gonna add a couple of that. 2 leaves. Wow, that looks beautiful. And then we have salad, so we're gonna have some salad with this. Let me go ahead and take a bite of that chicken. That's cooked perfectly. Oh wow, that chicken marinade is so good. Wow. And then the rice. And everything also goes together too. This is really good. And I love that little sauce. I'm gonna have a little squirt on top of this. Now, obviously, if you guys like heat, this would definitely be a good thing to add that sriracha in. Wow, super flavorful. Very, very good. Now we're gonna sit down and enjoy this meal. So I just want to say thank you again for allowing me to come into your home. If you like my videos, please go ahead and like, share, but most importantly, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for being here and keep on cooking. Bye.